if these guys can produce, I don't know, 5,000 Ferrari a year, and they're all quality, then why can't we?
Mm-hmm.
I'm the dentist. I've been doing this 30 years. I told you what to do. Now, on those phone calls, I'm not the friendliest, let's say. I actually have a wall of shame in the lab, with all the boxes of the people that never call back.
Have you really?
I do. There are many type of zirconia out there, which are now more and more translucent, and more compatible with cementation, and more, but the effect of a layered crown, in my opinion, cannot be replaced or replicated.
The more care and attention made, taken at that manufacture stage and the preparation stage, that's the key to success.
If that's your passion, if dentistry is your passion, show it, engage into it, go the extra mile, don't give up.
Hi guys, welcome to Dentistry Unmasked. My guest today is Angelo Zuccari Plini, who is the owner of Estetica Dental Lab in London. Now, Angelo and I have been working together for about 7 years, and for all my high-end cases, I always use Angelo because the lab work really is top-notch. So I invited Angelo on because I really wanted to find out what makes the difference between an average lab and an elite lab. What are the different processes? How can labs make zirconia crowns for like £30 a unit, and why is Angelo charging £200 a unit? What's the difference? We run courses together, and one of the questions I always get asked on the course is, what is a monolithic zirconia crown? What's the difference between a monolithic zirconia, layered zirconia? Why is a crown unit from Estetica Dental Lab say £200 a unit, and why can you get these CAD/CAM £30 a unit crowns from many of these flyers which drop through our letterboxes? What is the difference? So I think it's really important, especially during this time when costs are rising and we're all having to look at how to reduce our costs. The natural knee-jerk reaction is to choose a cheaper lab, but what are the ramifications of this? What is that lab doing to make that piece of lab work cheaper? So we discussed that in detail, amongst other things. Angelo is not only a technician that I work with, he's also a personal friend. He's become a personal friend over the years, so it's a nice conversation, a bit of banter as well. So I hope you enjoy listening to this one. As always, I appreciate your comments and your likes and your shares, and I really do hope that you enjoy this episode. We're coming towards the end of season 1 now, only one episode left. If there's anything that you'd like me to talk about specifically in season 2, or any specific guests you'd like me to have on, I always appreciate any suggestions. And I hope you enjoy listening to this one. Thank you.
Angelo, welcome to Dentistry Unmasked. Welcome to Leeds.
Thank you.
All the way from London this morning.
That's correct.
I hope it's not entering into hell.
No. Weather is similar, so it hasn't changed much.
That's good. I had a little bit of a fear that you're going to come from sunny London.
I wish.
And then jump on the train 2 hours up north, get out at Leeds train station and be like, oh my God, what is this place?
No, I didn't feel much of a difference at all.
No, that's good. That's good. The gods are with us today, huh?
But I'm very happy to be here.
Excellent. Well, mate, thanks for coming. For those of you that don't know Angelo is actually technician I've been working with now for 7 years.
Yeah.
Maybe a bit longer, actually.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah. And all the wonderful lab work which I have on display, with the courses is made by this wonderful gentleman sat right in front of me. So, Angelo, I love what you do. And thank you for coming to talk to us today on Dentistry Unmasked, because throughout this series, I've been talking to a lot of notable dentists, I should say, one being Paul Tipton, and we were having a discussion about lab work. Mm-hmm. I just thought, who better to get on board and talk about lab work, because we've had many a chat over, the stuff that we do together.
Absolutely.
So I think it's a good idea to maybe just get to the details of what goes on in a dental lab, because a lot of dentists don't actually know what goes on in a lab.
Fairly.
Don't know the difference between, monolithic zirconia crown and layered zirconia crowns. It's one of the chats that we had, isn't it, at the last course that we ran together, where we talk about these things, and we'll always get 3 or 4 people just innocently put up their hands, and they're like, what's the difference between a monolithic zirconia crown and layered zirconia crown. It's just like, wow, really? Okay, so let's get the information out there.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to start, if that's okay, with you. Let's get to know you. Well, I know you. But let's get to know you. So, in a sense, what's your journey been? First of all, you're from?
I'm from Italy, Rome.
Yeah.
Originally, but now I'm dual. So after Brexit, I thought before I'm kicked out. Let me get a passport.
We'd never kick you out, bro. We'd never kick you out. But what was your journey over here? So how did you find yourself on these shores, and how did you set up? I mean, obviously this is a long question, and we're going to break it down. But how did you then become the CEO of such a successful dental lab in London? So what's your journey been? How did you get here?
Well, I studied in Rome, and I always had a passion for dentistry. It just came out of nowhere. I was 16. I looked at the school. I was like, yeah, I want to do this. And so I feel blessed that I've stick to that, and I kept growing this passion, knowledge, and until when then I felt that I should have learned English and explore different opportunities in England. London specifically looked like the place, the hub where I could have opportunities, and that's how we went. So I had different business partners at the start. I came here humbly with not much, and not much English either. So it was quite a journey, but I've been the CEO of Estetica Dental Lab for Estetica has been now 13 years in trading, and I'm the sole owner of it. But the merit of everything let's say I do is actually with the team. So for me, the growth, my personal growth was technical, but also try to share and my ideas and my knowledge through a team of people, professional, that I select personally to join the company. And that's how you get your crowns. But I mean, there's been a lot of changes in this journey. I have now, this is the 5th location of the lab. We outgrow every single location, which is very good. I feel that the dentistry has changed, but we keep the piece of it. So in terms of where we are today, I think there's a lot of people that's been part of this, and I need to thank, and surely my team, which I'm very proud of.
Yeah, amazing. So can I just ask then, because 16 years old, and you just knew that you wanted to get into this, there must have been an inspiration, there must have been a spark. When did you first see it? When did you just think, okay, making teeth, making crowns?
Yeah.
You know, what was the inspiration? What was the spark?
So, my mom forced me at the time to see every single school and to decide which one I wanted to go for. And when I saw the dental technician school, actually, I just felt, okay, I like these. There were furnaces and materials and different colorful things. And, I grew up in Rome, so but I was lucky to have a garden to play out and all of that. So I thought something that I can build with my hands would be an interest, and that's where it started from. So I also need to thank my mom to have pushed me to see different schools. I think at that time we all need a bit of orientation on where we want to go, and so family is important to that. But yes, I was lucky that when I saw it, I knew it was what I wanted to do, and as I say, I never left it, and my passion just grew, and we're here. That's how it's all started. I mean, today there's a lot of different position and different steps to get to being a master technician. I think today everybody is looking for a segment of this. So I get a lot of people that want to go CAD/CAM and digital, and then I get people that just want to do ceramic, and then some others that just want to do different things. But I think the real profession, so be able to brainstorm about cases. You need to have every single tool of knowledge in the production in the dental laboratory. So I recognize a master dental technician only if he knows a bit of everything, and he can do a bit of everything. And everything starts from the knowledge of the anatomy. So the knowledge of the anatomy is what creates the skill set of reproducing it, and the respect of dental technology and the knowledge of dental technology allows us to use the machinery and the materials in the correct way. So I am now 40, almost 41. Let's say 40.
You don't look it. You don't look it. Looking fantastic.
But it feels like that. And it's been literally 25 years of dentistry now already. So now I work less and less at the bench, but I've done a lot of immediate load full arches, and we keep doing that. So yeah, I mean, things change when you run a business, and you're not just anymore a dental technician, but you also are a businessman. And I don't say out of economics factor. I say just in order to run the business, to run a team that can produce restorations.
So your first job after you qualified and learnt the initial skill of being a technician, what was your first job like? And was that in Italy? Was that in Rome?
Yeah, was in Rome, and basically my duties were look, don't talk, look, don't talk, just look and don't talk. So it is a difficult profession to learn, because there are many paths that you need to know, and you need to develop, obviously, like you guys, from the knowledge and the studies. You need to apply that to your skill set using your hands, and so that link, that connection comes in time, and it takes quite a bit to learn it all. So yeah, I mean, starting from look and don't talk, watch and don't talk, then little by little I start doing plaster, and then temporaries. Before was still the technique of salt and pepper is called, for acrylic temporaries, and whereas now it's all milled. So yeah, I mean, those were the duties, and then I always had an interest for ceramic and frames. I like precision. I like dental technology.
How have you seen dentistry transform since you first started out? Or dental technology transform, I should ask.
I feel that for the first 10 years, we weren't moving at the speed that the last 10 years, the past 10 years, we've been moving. I feel that the digital tool and the digital way that we obviously already engage fully, it did increase the speed of change. So for like, if you look also at the material that we had, 15 years ago, it's probably when zirconia was about, at least for me, was getting into the market.
It was a new thing, right?
Well, pretty much. I mean, I remember working with scanners that were basically, they were working on a touch, so that you will have a little ball attachment that was touching the preps, and that's how it was recording lines of geometry to reproduce into the digital. Whereas now, obviously, we have great cameras and very powerful cameras that they can see details without any touch, basically, of the prep. And you can scan multiple preps, up to 12 preps in like 55 seconds. Whereas scanning one prep 15 years ago, well, maybe more, 20 years ago, I think, would be the first scanner, would take maybe a good 45 minutes for a single prep. So So yeah, I mean, we change technology, materials, and techniques with it. I think though that it's important to say that the knowledge of our what is required from us cannot be digitalized only. We have to produce an experience between the knowledge and the technology that at the moment that we need to, for example, I'm trying to say that guided implantology, right? Everybody's now jumping it.
Yeah.
But it feels like there's a lot of new dentists that they just take that as the way to place implants.
Yeah.
But that will numb their skill set, which is comparable to a diagnostic workshop, which was before. We still do an Estetica by hand.
I know you do, yeah.
But there is also the choice of doing digital.
Yeah.
So now for the technician that they do digital workshop, if I give them a tool, an electric knife and some wax, they can't actually do it. So again, in my opinion, we shouldn't replace with technology knowledge. And we shouldn't let technology we shouldn't use technology as a shortcut. We should use it as a tool to increase precision, consistency, and quality. So a lot has changed, in my opinion.
That's a really, really good point that you raised there, because you can echo that in clinical practice as well. Using the guided implantology actually as a perfect example, because as you know, we run unique implant training and we have many mentees, and when they have a look at a digital workflow, it's kind of like, man, this is so easy. Why don't we just do this for every single case? Why bother cutting a flap and raising and visualizing the bone when it's all being guided? You can literally just do a pilot hole through the tissues. But it's just like, yeah, but first of all, then you're losing the skills of the surgical techniques.
Absolutely.
And what happens if something goes wrong and the bone isn't quite as hard as it looks like it is on the scan? You have to raise a flap, and you need that to be able to effectively get out of jail when something goes wrong. So we echo that then with the technical work, don't we? If you are just relying, if you're a new technician, joining a laboratory and you're learning the skill for the first time, if you don't have those, those foundation skills, then we're not having a master technician, as you put it.
Correct. That's exactly the point I was trying to share.
Yeah.
And it does definitely apply for both sides. I mean, we are on a team, surely me and you, but like dentist and technician, there should be a team. And as we progress, if you notice, there's before they came out with the mini machine for labs, now we got to the point that a mini machine for surgery, and I don't fear to be replaced from technology, because I'm a believer of cosmetic work, so we still do a lot of end layering rather than monolithic, which is obviously a great restoration to use in many occasions, but
we're going to definitely talk about it in detail later, but yeah, carry on.
But we cannot replace knowledge and experience through the work, also because the handwork, the feel. I'm sure when you raise a flap, you have a better vision of any infection. You have the chance to clear, and I think is needed before placing an implant. And sometimes with flapless, how do you know that you actually have cleared that granulating tissue or infection? You just guess it.
Yeah.
So it depends what level of work I think you want to do, and what was your target of quality. But it's just a reminder that this is still healthcare, and we need to do the best that we can for the patients. So it's not really just the best that you can do for you or for your business, right?
Yeah.
So again, all this progress should be organic and should be, as I say, I believe, a tool to do better, not to replace.
Ah, cool. Just touching on what you just said before about how technology has just exploded in the last decade. Definitely it has. I mean, I'm qualified now almost 20 years. Almost. Not quite there, but almost 20 years qualified. I remember when I was at dental school, we made a lot of our own lab work, when we were in Guy's Hospital, which I don't think they make too much of their own lab work anymore. But when I first qualified, it was either, if we're doing crowns on teeth, you're either looking at a full gold crown, yeah, or a metal ceramic crown. And that pretty much was it. They were talking about like bell glass crowns and, you know, Procera crowns. These were new back then. And obviously they've been superseded slowly by what we have today. But, you know, this really, really quick advancement in technology, how is that in the lab, from the lab side of things, keeping up with that? Is it difficult, or is it an advantage, or?
I'm honest, it is a challenge.
Yeah.
By saying that, I mean that you need to be on top of it.
Yeah.
So, for example, one of the biggest headache for me was 3D printing, because obviously, you know, all these scanner companies, they start selling scanners, but it wasn't followed for the lab side at the right level. So if you ask me, Angelo, would you like to invest in technology to improve? Yes, I would. Would you like to invest in technology to lower your quality? No, I wouldn't. So I felt that that was almost the line, because the plaster as it's such, even though it's very old, it is very accurate. And there was like transitional time where printing wasn't at the same accuracy. So basically, to implement a new technology, we were lowering the quality of precision, and that obviously it's not the case anymore because of the printing, the digital, the scanners, the materials, everything is better. So we have now in Estetica Dental Lab about 9 printers. We are the only lab in UK that prints at 8K definition with 10 micron accuracy marginal error. I mean, it's basically super accurate. However, to keep the machines and to keep everything, you know, spot on, it does take a lot of maintenance, it does take a lot of attention, and you need people that understands what to do. And as soon as you change material, the headache starts again.
Yeah.
So, but you know, any challenge like that to do better is, I welcome it. So I can say, honestly, we're on top of what we're producing. And for me, as I said, the gap was like, okay, I want to do layering. I believe dental technicians should be able to layer ceramic because, you know, again, there are many type of zirconia out there which are now more and more translucent, and more compatible with cementation, and more, you know, but the effect of a layered crown, in my opinion, cannot be replaced or replicated. And this is the craft that we need to be careful not to lose. Because if we take this into business, into the money side of things, I have 5 full-time ceramists. Now, a good, great ceramist can do 5 to 8 units in between that range a day, layered. Whereas if I give stain and glaze to the same person, he will be able to do maybe 20, 25 units. And they look very good, but they're just not the same.
It's not the same quality.
No, because we need to, when we look at ceramic, it's like glass, right? It just, it is basically that. And how much the light impacts on glass.
100%, lots. It's everything.
Yeah. Everything. So how do you give depth to something monolithic? It's just an effect. That's why the stains have improved now. That's why we now there is liquid ceramic to resemble a layered effect. But once you get different lights in it, you will see that it's not the same. Even on your X-rays, right? When you take an X-ray,
you can see it, absolutely. Yeah.
You know what's layered or what is not layered, right? And yeah, I mean, I was talking about this because if we target quality, we shouldn't lose the craft and the skill set and the school to get there. Because quality, we need to study. You cannot just come up, oh, I'm a great digital technician. I am great. But I don't know how to do these things. Well, then you're not. And where do you study those things? Because for me, it's an investment to get a young guy and to spend a lot of time on to train this person before he can get even a smell of the ceramic room. So not everybody is keen to go through that journey.
Mm-hmm.
And as I say, if you look at it from a business point of view, then the margins are what the profit could be if I just then reduce to, rather than 5 ceramics, bring it down to 2 and staining glaze everything. You understand that, there's great savings. And, again, I feel that we need to be more careful on knowledge and creating experience and sharing knowledge, and we shouldn't let the tradition of a craft like dental technician is die just because digital is out.
Hi guys, are you thinking about getting into dental implantology? Well, if you didn't know, I'm one of the founding members of Unique Implant Training. Unique Implant Training is now in its 5th year, and we are now fully EduQual accredited to diploma level, which is an 18-month diploma, the only 18-month implant diploma currently in the UK. So if you want to begin your implant journey, please don't hesitate to give us a call. Find us at www.uniqueimplantraining.co.uk. We look forward to seeing you soon. Let's make the guys understand, what is a monolithic zirconia crown and what is a handcrafted, beautiful, what is it?
Hand layering, ceramic.
It's hand layering, but is it Iverstar? No. What is it? What's the type of zirconia that you use?
Well, we use argent. We use Ivoclar. We run let's start then technically. Okay, so zirconia is milled out of blocks. Now you can mill zirconia monolithic, so you have a library into your software that you can apply on the digital model that you work on your CAD. And basically you can design this crown, mill it, staining glaze, and there's no layering. Now, when you design that crown, and that's a monolithic zirconia, so it's a milled crown out of a block in relation to a library, preform library, a digital preform library. So you design, send to milling machine mills it, you sinter it, which is a sinterization, is like the crystallization process of the network of the zirconia particles. And then you staining glaze. And that's a monolithic crown done.
That's it. It's like a full crown. So this is what people don't understand. What we're doing there is you're going through your library, as you've just said, and then the whole the whole crown is the whole tooth which drops out of the machine. And all we're going to do there then is just color it. Yeah?
Correct. Staining glaze. Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Let's say we go in, it is the same process to get a layer crown, zirconia crown, but the difference is when you design your full crown, you then reduce it to a frame. So then you design full crown, you reduce it to frame, and then you send to milling machine. You mill it, you sinter it. Once you have this frame, then you'll have to treat it, adjust it, fit, and all of that. But then it gets to the ceramics, and the ceramics takes basically powder and liquid, and they create a paste. We mix it into a paste, and then we hand layer with brushes like painting brushes. And to layer a crown, usually you need maybe to finish a layer crown, 2 to 4 fires. Okay, it can be done in 2, but different things, different techniques. It can go up to 5 even. So if we look at the strength of zirconia, the argent material that we use is 1,200 MPa's strength, but the layering on it is only around 600. Now, the ceramic that you layer on it needs to be compatible, and it needs to be working with what is called CTE, which is like a grade of compatibility between the zirconia and the layering ceramic. And that, once it's done, is around 500, 600 MPa strength. So you have a strong core of zirconia, hand layer ceramic on it. So if you have to adjust it, it will feel ceramic. If you go and adjust in occlusion a monolithic, it will spark.
Yes, it does. Yeah,
because there's no.
Yeah.
What has changed with it? You see how technology advances. Because of that, now we have what they're called. It's not actually multi-layer only, but it's called. I miss the term now, but it's basically graded different strength in the same block. So at the bottom of your crown, we'll have 1,200 MPAs. By occlusal, you have 600, all in the same block. So again, he helps adjusting, fitting, and
that's just as a monolithic block?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So you have multi-layers you can have shading multi-layered within the same block. So you can have, let's say you have an A3, you will have grades of that shade and then the enamel shade on it as a base to help to get shades. But you also have, I'm looking for the term, I haven't given up on it, but these multi-layer strength as well. Okay, so you'll have, you have, as I said, different grades of strength.
Yeah.
So when we nest our crown into the disc digitally, you have to incline and position it in order to have the right strength. And so when you get in the mouth, you need to adjust it. It's not as strong as before anymore because it's made to accommodate your experience, the patient's experience, and to be able to adjust it. Because obviously, again, I feel it's like trying to replicating hand layering, right?
So why would you do it? Why do
because people wouldn't, they go monolithic, so they don't maybe have the same.
Is that basically the lab's if you're running a lab, it's basically the lab's point of view, is the lab's advantage to be able to do it fully monolithic to save time and cost. Is that right?
Oh, that's for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I think what a lot of people don't understand, and this is one of the reasons why I want to talk about this, because it just comes up time and time again. What is the purpose then of the hand layering? And I suppose the way to put it is like this: if you've ever done metal ceramic crowns as a dentist, you have that metal coping underneath, and then the veneering porcelain over the top of the metal is what gives it the aesthetics. Yeah,
correct.
The metal, and that's exactly what a zirconia, hand-laid zirconia crown should be. Yeah, so the zirconia is quite literally just replacing the metal coping and the hand-laid porcelain over the top. And that takes skill, it takes time, and there's a cost attached to it.
Of course.
And this is what people don't understand. So, guys, when this, new lab that's opened up the road drops this ticket, through the door and says, we can make you zirconia crowns for 60 quid, just understand, please, what it is that you're
buying.
Getting. Exactly.
I mean, that's very important. I feel sometimes people, as you said, like we've seen it together during courses, right? That they are sold things that obviously they worry about the clinical aspect and progress and study, and they trust the lab to give them the right products for it. You see, we've been through times where, like zirconia, 1200 MPAs is stronger than teeth. So if it's not treated correctly, it will wear them down. It will literally eat them down.
100%. And you know what? This is exactly what happens, right? So clinically, so now from the dentist point of view, what happens? We've got a monolithic zirconia crown. It's great. It's strong.
Doesn't cheap.
It's cheap, right?
As well.
It's strong, right? And what's there not to like about that? But it's exactly as you said. There's no ability to absorb stress in the restoration. All that stress is being transmitted one of two ways. It's either being transmitted to the actual tooth that it's cemented on, right? Which is going to cause problems. It could cause, fractures within the core. It can cause fractures within the root. It can cause wear of the opposing tooth, chipping, splitting, breaking. So in the sense, we've got to really, really look after the occlusal system. And in my opinion, anyway, I don't feel monolithic zirconia restorations are actually appropriate. That's just my opinion.
I agree. Yeah. I wouldn't have it. Okay, but for certain cases, if we restore like a 7, and it's a bruxis patient, it does have a scope, but you see, what we do full arches together, right? And we've done full mouth together. So we pick a strong material layered on top, and a softer material for the lower, for shock absorption, osteoconduction. All these reasons are facts. So it's not like we can take any material just because it's working, it's cheap, it looks good, and we can just fit it. We need to understand the dynamics of each patient mouth. And I think we shall be careful with that. So again, these new type of zirconia, they try to compensate for that too. Which is good, which is okay. I think there's a market for everybody. I'm not implying that we should do one thing, as you're not implying that you should do one thing or the other. But for me, I would get my work layered. But it's like we've been in time where we're still in those time. I always, since I've opened Estetica, I always sold one piece screw retained metal frames. So you get, at the time we were casting, we stopped casting metal 4 years ago now, it's all milled. But it was one piece, and it's still in one piece. So that means that we didn't have any cementation of, so you will buy an abutment, you will cement a metal frame on it, and then you will layer the secondary part, and then it will get screw retained once cemented, right? Two parts. Whereas I always had to do this thing, one part, one body, and layer. You can't go wrong. Now, in time, I have post-ops at 13 years in UK, at least on my work. And touch wood, we don't have these problems because of that. Look at the little issues here and there with the bonding zirconia from links. And imagine all that metal ceramic that was cemented over titanium abutment. You know, titanium can be layered. So you will buy a stock abutment in titanium, do a secondary frame in chrome cobalt, layer it, cement it, done. You know, different techniques for different palettes, I think. But like, why would we have cement under gum if we don't need it? Would you like cement near your implant head? You wouldn't.
No.
We would like one piece, cleansable, correctly designed, you know. But all of these again it was my choice to spend more, not to offer these. And I think within 13 years, proudly producing in UK, we can say that was right. That's all. Then everybody's free to do what they want. For example, zirconia, in the same way, when we cement zirconia over abutment, we need to make sure what are you cementing over, what cement do you use, how you treat zirconia, what zirconia you use. It's all super relevant, you know. I mean, you do quite a bit of implant work. Would you like every single patient of yours coming back with the crown debonded from the back?
No, definitely not. And I'll confess, I've sometimes tried a different lab, and that's why I always keep coming back, because I know that this stuff works. Yeah, but 100%. So zirconia, it's not just to hammer home the point.
Please do
hammer home the point. It's the quality that comes out of the lab is reflected in the lab fee, basically, right? And if there is going to be an element of hand, in a nutshell, from a dentist point of view, if you want good stuff, you can't pay peanuts for it. that's what I'm trying to say.
But that's for every single thing in the market, isn't it? I mean, I'm one of those guys that I don't believe that everything that is expensive is good, right? So I'm originally from Italy, and for me, one of my best favorite dishes is pasta with tomato sauce. Simple. That's probably
delicious,
right?
Bit of basil.
Yeah, a bit of basil.
Yeah. Salt, pepper.
We're changing the
garlic.
podcast nature like this, man. I'm happy with it. Man.
Welcome to my cooking podcast.
But That's like what, £5 to make, let's say half kilo. I don't know. Like, I have no idea, but let's say it's £5 for half kilo pasta with tomato sauce and basil.
Yeah.
If you go into a 5-star super Michelin left and right, and they charge you 50, that doesn't mean that it's better than with the one you did home. But when we involve materials in, like we could involve ingredients in the same way, you can buy a very cheap tomato sauce. You could probably do a half kilo of that tomato sauce for £1 rather than 5. But it would never justify 50 for me. Okay. So what I'm trying to do, is that what you're trying to do is basically give knowledge to how to pick what you need, right? And I think it's important to have that trust in the lab, but moreover, it's important that you have an interest in what you buy. You know, and to develop the interest, you need to have the knowledge. So it's like, you know, if any client calls me or new client calls me, it's like, can you explain me this? I would explain it happily. You know, I'm super transparent. I can share every single material we use. There's no hidden points or nothing. So I think that the combo must be something that we can afford, that we can all make profit. But finally, it needs to be the right choice for the patients, right? So you'll find a solid partner with those. In those values, I'm all up for doing the right choice and do the right work. And you know, there is a lady that I bought her a whip, and she does the quality control. So I bought her a whip as but she does quality control for each single piece. I could do that, or maybe I don't have the time. I don't know, but I could. But she makes sure that everything is correct, even though everything as a protocol, guidelines, you know, you can't really go adrift from the protocols of production of Estetica, but she cross-checks, she double-checks, she triple-checks. Because you really mean it. We really mean it. And then things can go wrong. You know, there's always that. But at least have you tried the best that you could to restore or to give this smile to your patient? When I'm asked that question, my answer is always yes. If it's no, the case won't go out from the lab. It won't move. It will be one of those horrible calls from the lab. We're sorry, but you know, we have to postpone.
Hey, listen, and I know that you're not just saying that because I've had one of those calls.
Okay.
I've had one of those calls that, you know what, maybe this impression isn't good enough, maybe the margin isn't there. You won't
That's
recall.
a different call.
You won't.
That's a different call.
You probably won't recall, but it was one of these veneer cases that we were doing, and I just re-prepped it.
Was that the lower case? No, there was a lower case. I never liked. No, it wasn't that one.
Case. Not that one. Not that one.
So we got to. But we do a lot.
No, but I could. No, 100%. You're not just saying that. If you're not happy with something that we've produced or I've produced, you know, you'll tell us, and that's nice.
But
and
would you like to know that?
Of course, and I value that. I value that. So, I mean, I'm sure. Do you ever get any clients ring? Well, when they get that phone call, do you ever get any like kickback from it? Do you ever get any clients saying, just make it, man?
Oh, yeah. I would say, I'm the dentist. I've been doing this 30 years. I told you what to do. Now, on those phone calls, I'm not the friendliest, let's say. I actually have a wall of shame in the lab, with all the boxes, all the people that never call back.
Have you really?
I do.
That's so funny.
You're not there.
I'm not there yet.
You were never there.
No. I think it's so important, and obviously you know this. We've had this conversation over a beer many a time, but I mean we work as a team, right? And the thing is that I just simply prep the tooth, man. You make the stuff, so I've got to give you something to make the stuff on. So it's a partnership, right?
Without you giving the right basis, this must be very clear to everybody. Without us receiving the right basis, so from the prep to the impression to the bite registration material, everything, we cannot give you cannot expect any good work. So the best thing to do is to call you and let you know. And there's a lot of people that really appreciate, and and when they appreciate and they even apologize to me, which is not needed, honestly, but then I will go the extra mile. I will do anything. I will go in there and prep. You know what I mean? Obviously, I don't do that, but you see, I would help to that level. Like I would do anything because I understand we all start from somewhere, and now I'm older than possibly the new people coming in, and we enjoy teaching. We do a lot of it. So I enjoy guiding the knowledge for what, if they have an interest though, if they are willing.
Yeah.
And that's a key point because they're like, oh, but I called the patient. Now we're gonna call the patient again. I'm like, yeah,
you know what? Honestly, that is a barrier. That is a barrier to a lot of people. That phone call. I'm just telling you from a dentist point of view.
Yeah, of course.
That phone call that you have to make to Mr. Jones. That, oh, we have to get you back in to re-prep the tooth or take the impression again. It's like, oh, shit, do we have to do this again? Do we have to get them back in? Because you've got this fear almost that you look incompetent and you haven't done a good job.
Well, you may end up with that from the patient.
But you know what? It's worth it, in my experience, because I've been doing this, as I said, almost 20 years. You know, Hedro is aesthetically focused now. You know, we do routine care, but we do a lot of smile makeovers, and obviously you restore them all. So in the sense, you know, if it's really important that if something is not quite right, if you are not quite happy with something and we need to do something again, I get them in and do it again, because I've got the value now of following up my patients, you know, 5 years after a smile makeover, 10 years after a smile makeover. And if you've fitted a shitty bit of lab work, it doesn't look good down the line. You know, the more care and attention made, you know, taken at that manufacture stage and the preparation stage, that's the key to success. Absolutely. So I appreciate the phone call. If you're not happy with it, I appreciate the phone call.
It's coming anyway.
Absolutely. There you go. Exactly. There you are. Guys, as you know, I am the lead tutor of the Hedro Academy Vertical Preparation course. Now, we have put together this beautiful vertical preparation kit, which has been beautifully made by Former Dental Supplies. Simon at Former has kindly agreed to give one lucky winner of this podcast a kit completely free of charge, which retails normally at £220 plus VAT. So all you have to do to win one of these fantastic vertical preparation kits is just give us a like, subscribe to the podcast and share it, and leave a comment below, and we will pick one lucky winner every podcast, and Burkit will be finding itself in your clinic. Okay, so yeah, great guys. The Horacle Burkit by Hedro Academy and Former Dental Supplies. Just on that, there's a couple of things I'd like to touch on now.
Please.
So, you're Italian. You don't sound it. No, I'm just joking. Of course you do.
I was hoping not to, but I'm also British, so I was hoping not to.
So you're Roman. You're Roman originally.
I am Roman.
Yeah. So that transition that you made then from Italy to the UK, what's your opinion in terms of Italian dentistry, UK dentistry? I'll tell you from my point of view, because like as a UK dentist, you look at these journals, you look at things like Style Italiano, stuff like this, and dentistry in Italy looks the business. But then there are some techniques which a lot of UK dentists would be like, that's a little bit out there. Maybe it's a little bit aggressive, or it's just stuff that we wouldn't do on these shows. From your point of view, as a technician who's worked in Italy and now has a successful lab in the UK, how does it compare? What's the difference?
I'm proud and happy that my school was in Italy. My formation was in Italy, because that's what create my state of mind. The last lab I work is an ISO certified lab. They work with hospitals, and these guys, you know, they're still my friends, and they you know, they mean it. They always meant it, and I love that. I love that discipline, or that search for quality and the study behind. But I must say, I am who I am today because of the growth and that I was exposed in England. I don't think that quality has an origin as a country. I think quality has an origin in private or a private group of people sharing the wish to do better. And every time you try that, you engage into an unknown area, right? So you will have errors and all of that. But if you don't give up on that search, you can say that you produce quality, because you can have you can never lower your guard in quality, right? I always say to some of my staff, I always use this example. Because there's a lot of people saying, oh, your lab, the lab, when it gets too big, they can't do quality anymore. As long as they 1, 2, 5 technicians. But when you get 15, 20, well, we're 30. And I believe that if Ferrari, big shout to Ferrari, Audi,
German.
That's what I drive, German.
Yeah.
But if these guys can produce, I don't know, 5,000 Ferrari a year, and they're all quality, then why can't we? You see. So what is it then? It's a state of mind, and that state of mind, I think I need to. I know that there's a lot of Great Britain in it, and yes, I'm Italian, but yes, I'm also English, and I'm very proud to produce here. And when I speak to my team, I tell them, would you fit that? Like, they give me a crown. It's like, oh, what's wrong with it? I was like, would you fit that in your mother's mouth? And they're like, why are you talking about my mother? I said, because it could be someone else's mom. But would you do it? Oh, maybe not. Then go back, sit down, do it again until it looks like your mother's. And I know, sorry, but it works.
Yeah,
it works. So I think I'm blessed to have a bit of the both world. And when I look in Italy, when I look in England, there are two different countries, different techniques, but I don't see any better or worse. I just see I just see the.
What's the British influence?
Well, I work in 2 or 3 labs before opening Estetica, even if shortly. But then I was exposed to, when I opened Estetica, I was exposed to a lot of different things, which in Italy sometimes the people that is in power, they run successful business, they don't want you to, they won't give you opportunity to sort of come up, raise your head. Whereas I am a believer of, like, I want my team to do well. I want them to learn. I'm all about sharing. And England, I think, gave me a lot of that. Like, let's share what we know. Let's share opportunities, and that's why I'm here, honestly. So yes, thanks to my Italian studies and these labs, they were top notch. Because I think there is a bit of a lag. There's only a few labs I feel at my level. And recently, actually, they all sold to corporate. So that's something else that is happening, which I don't judge anybody. I'm just saying, how is it gonna go now? Because there's people, these corporates, they don't even have necessarily a dental background, but there's one of these corporates that bought like 25 labs in our go. So
let's talk about this, right? So because I was talking to Paul Tipton about this, and the lab technician is a dying breed.
It is.
Yeah. So in the sense, the average technician now apparently is 57 years old, and the labs are a dying breed. And you've just said there that the lab world is being taken over by corporate labs.
Correct.
So where do you see this going?
To me, I'm excited. I'm excited. I like challenges. I never seen a competitor. Can you believe me when I say that? I don't see competitors because I'm just too busy with trying to do my thing. I don't say like to look good. I really mean it. But now instead I feel the challenge because I don't like these. What I don't like is like we all have an identity. We all have our ideas, and we all humans. We're not numbers, right? And with pro and cons of it. And if anything, I run a human project rather than a dental lab. Because dental lab can be, as we said, very automated, semi-automated, numbers. You don't need to be a corporate to have the same wish. But I just wonder what's available now to create those identities and to have the opportunity to learn in that sense. I don't know. It's interesting days. I'd love to be the Versace of the dental technician world because I mean, there's even though that's corporate as well. Let's say it, but I mean we need to say it. But I often did these comparison. Like you buy a pair of Nike, everybody has Nike, and they're all the same. And then you buy maybe an handmade pair of shoes, which costs you more, but it lasts you 10 years. How long then Nike lasted, and what did you represent? Just you were representing the company, right? But when it's handmade, you're representing yourself, and there's nobody behind, because who's going to know the guy who made it, but you still carry that for 10 years, and maybe you love them. It's two different markets. I'd love to be seen like that guy that nobody knows, but you still have the shoes off.
Yeah.
Okay,
handcrafted.
Yes, I like that.
Absolutely. So in the dental technician, in the dental technology world, in the lab world, what's going to happen now? Because the thing is they're slowly all being taken over by corporates.
Correct.
There seems to be, it's going two ways. There seems to be on one end a race to the bottom to produce the cheapest monolithic zirconia crown. And then there's that way going upwards as well, where more and more labs, I'd say, is it more, well, educate me, because like obviously we've got that race to the bottom. What about the other way? What about your direction? What about the race to the top effectively?
I mean,
is that happening?
There's some weird things that happen recently, like chrome cobalt price went skyrocketing. Like that's all I mill.
Right.
I mean, we don't mill any implant work in lab. We have 4 milling machine for zirconia, IMAX, and all of that. But the implant work is in Europe, in this big milling center, and the price of the chrome cobalt has raised a lot. So I think the race on going cheaper won't be affected from this, but the racing to go higher, it will be affected. But it shall never be about profits, is it? It should just be honest. I think as long as I can keep my location in London Centre, because obviously that's also, I'm in, the Estetica is based in London Centre, Fulham. The rent is quite a chunk of, we're renting, so it's quite a chunk of money compared to someone that maybe is in a different location that can have that cheaper. But like, I feel we always need to be honest on the profit margin, and as long as I have a successful, healthy company and I share, I call it blessings, because I really feel I'm proud of my team, and we're friends. We spend a lot of time together, and I like to share happiness and wealth and whatever, but that's not going to be at the expenses of my clients. So as long as I can have my sort of profit margin untouched, I'm happy. But yes, the race to go higher is because the cost of everything is higher. But I wouldn't engage. I never felt a race of pricing, for example. Again, maybe because I haven't seen competitors very much, but not because I don't have. I mean, I don't think we're the best, but we are between the best. I think that's fair.
Yeah, no, I think you are, which is why I use. But yeah, no, I just think now from the clinical point of view and where we are in the UK today, UK dentistry, when I started out, private dentistry, I don't know what it was like in Italy, but private dentistry going back to, the early 2000s was a very niche thing. Okay. Maybe in London, a lot more private practices, but nationwide, very, very niche thing. The dental model was the NHS. Yeah. So then it kind of transitioned from the NHS practice, which is doing more private work, but you still have an NHS contract. Now, today, we've got a hell of a lot more people doing private dentistry, hell of a lot more private-only dental practices. When Tony Kilcoyne was on the podcast, he actually told me that private dentistry delivers more dentistry in the UK today than NHS dentistry does, which I was very surprised to hear. So I think slowly, the NHS in the UK is a dying thing. Inevitably. Slowly it is. So I think this, race to the top effectively is something that has to be done, and I think that needs to be reflected in practice as well.
Absolutely.
So I think we need to get used to charging more. I think we need to get used to delivering that level of private care. But, the other thing is, though, is that there is going to be a section of society which can't afford the treatment. It's a difficult balance to gain, isn't it?
We are a dynamic society, right?
Yeah.
We're human beings, so we evolve, right? and so our skill set, as well our thinking, and so an entire nation. Yeah. So I think if there is, you see, I'd like to make this point, right? You see all the scanners and this digital. Everybody asks me, what? It's going to cost me more? I'm like, yeah, it's going to cost you more. I have to print the models. Oh, but I thought digital will cost me less. No, it will cost you more, and you knew it the moment you bought the scanner.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what, 20, 30 grand a scanner? Depends what you buy.
Yeah.
So what did you think was going to get cheaper?
Yeah.
So how do I follow this technology? I invest too. I have 9 printers. Who pays for that? So if we can maybe switch, not much what we did, but the state of mind of what we want to do, and realize that as I say, I'm proud to produce in UK. I realize that there is a pride, and take a pride on what we do. Then we can share that experience at no cost. That doesn't cost you anything. But we can initiate a trend of change for better. Because look, again, how many, honestly,
Go on.
dangerous question. How many restoration in NHS you think they were correctly made?
Oh, God.
What percentage?
I wouldn't be able to put a figure on it.
Let's not.
There's
maybe,
a lot of corner cutting, though.
Right, let's not. But do you understand?
Yeah.
So are we helping?
No.
Not sure.
It is patch-up work, effectively, as you say.
I'm not sure. And also, you're an implantologist, right? You know that if you don't pull out the tooth in the right way, you may damage the bone and so the bed or the implant placement, right? Did we ever take care of that?
Well,
What, the extraction level? I saw dentists like, yeah, that's fine. Boom, 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 goodbye. And, you destroy the bone of every single treatment that this patient could have. So I'm not saying NHS is a disaster. I think people here is blessed to have this help. And we all should learn to what a society can do to help people less fortunate than us. But there is a very thin line of help and damage here.
yeah.
And it's also for the clinician into the system. And if we go back to where majority of this work is probably produced, it's not even from England.
Yeah.
So hold on a minute. It's not really a bad thing. Maybe we could look how to help less fortunate people to have a better access to the right treatment. I don't know.
I think
it's all hypothetical here.
If we could fix the crisis, then we'd fix it, right?
Like,
but, it's just interesting to explore it, and especially from a technician's point of view.
But in Italy, there's none of that.
No,
Never was.
No. So what do the people that really can't afford dental care do? Do they just suffer? Or?
So let me call on my own team.
I'm sorry.
I have no idea.
No, fair enough. Quick fire, just to wrap this up. I just want to ask you a few quick questions.
Sure.
So who's your favourite client?
My favorite client.
You're taking far too long to answer this.
I should answer
Who's
you.
your favourite client?
I should answer you. I have many favorites. I'm honest.
You're supposed to say me.
Sorry
it's a
about
very, very good answer. What pisses you off when something comes through the door in terms of impression-wise or scan-wise, where you just think, oh man, come on, what is it?
Ignorance.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When someone doesn't accept.
Yeah.
If I call you, every time I call you, I say, look, there is a problem. I think you should look at that.
Yeah.
What did you do? You just went back, redone, and resent. Yes or no? You did. You never told me, Angelo, go ahead. I don't care. That's, I think, is ignorance. I hate that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hope you never see any of that coming from Hetero Dental.
No, never.
Good man. Good man. That's the right answer.
Never. See, I got the right answer.
Good
now.
man.
I've learned quick.
And what's your favorite dish?
Pasta with tomato sauce.
Pasta with tomato sauce.
Simple, man.
Okay, what's your favorite Indian dish?
I love a really good curry. That's changed with England, man. Some days I wake up and but this is true. I told you, this already probably. I don't know. But a really good curry now is like, I crave it.
Yeah.
Sometimes I can crave it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But good, though.
Yeah.
Good curry.
So you're an honorary Punjabi guy, as I told you last time you came up to Yorkshire, yeah?
What was the thing we ate?
Pani puri.
But yeah, pani puri.
Pani puri.
I love that.
Absolutely.
As well.
We'll go for some pani puri after.
Let's do it.
Definitely. And last question, and say this to the younger dentists listening to this. What is it? Because what is it that you feel that the young dentists are lacking, what they're scared to do, which is the reason why they're struggling with ceramic work? Because young dentists today love composite bonding, they love minimally invasive dentistry.
Composite?
Oh, they love it. They love it.
Who?
All of them. It's a big thing, composite. So,
wrong.
What is it that they need to do to get superior quality ceramic work to give you what you need to execute fantastic ceramic cases? What are they lacking?
Well, they need to prepare more. I think this conservative dentistry, I would have said a term, but I can't, but screwed few people over, I think, because if composite isn't nicely done, you will have gum recession and issue with the biotype. You have a lot of things with it. Infiltration and color and blah, blah, blah. We moved from, I had a guy as a client at the time, and he was trimming everything away, literally cutting everything out, which was great for me because I had all the space to do fantastic layering. But I'm not sure that was correct. Okay, so but in between, just because some clients I received some impression, they're like, "Oh, I prepped. Look at it." I'm like, "No, you didn't." No, I did. It's conservative. No, you didn't, mate. You did not. Oh, no, but we go monolithic. I'm like, yeah, but if you go monolithic on something no prep, we're going to go out there into... So I think study, educate. I believe in education, and I believe in experience. And so let's simplify the word, you know. Sometimes, you know, I went in all on 6 surgery in immediate load, and the guy was like, I had all this table, super clean, super excited, 3 nurses doing Instagram story. The patient was like that, like, yeah, okay, but when are we going to start? Do you know what I mean? I'm like, this isn't about you, it's about him.
Yeah.
So just simplify and look for what we can improve to deliver quality to the patient and be proud of that. So through the knowledge, you can then trying your best develop a skill set to obtain quality. I think that is very rewarding journey. So do not be scared. Do not get numb from all these technology, Insta story and whatever else. Just if that's your passion, if dentistry is your passion, show it, engage into it, go the extra mile, don't give up.
Beautiful. Keep loving it.
Keep loving it.
Keep loving it. That's you, man. Keep loving it. Keep loving it. Angelo, mate, thank you so much for coming.
No, thank
all
you,
the way
man.
from London to come and talk to me today. And guys listening, I hope you've picked up a little bit about, you know, dental technology, what it's like to be a technician on the other side of the lab ticket. Yeah, absolutely. So I think, you know, Angelo, again, thank you. How can people find you?
Well, with Instagram, not very much. But again, you see, we're a bit of which I think is really nice. But we there's a website, there's a phone number. It's Estetica Dental Lab. Yeah, you look it up and get the number, and there's a lot of nice people answering the phone. It's easy as that. Yeah. But we are in Instagram and LinkedIn and Facebook. So we're not very active on it, but we're very active on producing smiles. So
no, absolutely.
If that's what you want.
I think that's what it's about. So again, I'll just give you a little plug. You know, Angelo Estetica Dental Lab in London, based in Fulham. Fantastic lab work. I've been using you for 3/4 of a decade, should we call it? And honestly, I made it sound longer than it is. Yeah, 3/4 of a decade, and honestly, consistently, fantastic lab work. Time and time again, coming out there. Fantastic work, makes my patients smile, makes me smile when I fit it, and I know it's going to work and last a long time.
You're making me blush.
Well, there you go. It's very hot in the room as well. Bro, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Take care.
Thank you. Cheers.